안녕하세요, 여러분.
Hi everyone. We're making this video because today is January 29th, which makes it our 2-month anniversary. Yay! Congratulations!
We bought a little tiny cake.
We bought ourselves a little tiny cake. Let's unwrap it. Whoa! Yay! Fireworks. This, my friends, is very hard to come by, but not for the reason that you would think. It's actually because, as many of you know, Ashley is like deathly allergic of chocolate and strawberry. Yeah, she'll die. Ashley has previously ignored this allergy for so many years that it's gotten extremely severe. So this cake is actually peach, has peaches inside. So we bought it specifically so that we could both enjoy cake and celebrate our 2-month anniversary.
And both be alive afterwards.
Yes, like continue to like the third one. Yes.
Otherwise, the videos are gonna get very boring from now on.
Hey, I can make videos about myself.
You can, but
But they'll be boring.
but there's no hype man like boy. You kind of need that sort of thing.
All right. Well, anyways, we are fresh from a everybody calls it vacation. You know what? I'm gonna call it vacation too. Yohang,
Cause it was
because it kind of was.
vacation.
We went to Chonan. This is a sign for Chonan. Chonan is, so there are 2 congregations where the brothers who work at Bethel or often...
Is this white chocolate? Will I die?
No, you won't die. You can eat it. The brothers who work at Bethel or who are often at Bethel to help translate, they go to those congregations. So it's Chonan and Pyeontaek. So this, yeah, Pyeontaek. So we visited both congregations. We stayed in Chonan for 1 week, 일주일. And then we went.
Come for Chonan, stay for Pyeontaek.
We just
That's
went
the Bethel motto.
shortly to Pyeontaek.
I'm just gonna start
For
eating.
meeting. Yeah, go ahead. We just went to one meeting. So we originally, when we came in 2017, we had made friends in Chonan congregation. So we really missed them and we wanted to go see them. And we had a sister that was able to help us get over there. So once we got there, we were like, let's just stay a week. And happily, we have a friend who is a single sister who lives on her own and was able to host us. So that was really nice.
Yes.
So since she lives on her own, she's kind of lonely a little bit. So we were able to kind of keep her company.
She was amazing.
She was the best hostess
Amazing.
ever. That was awesome. We enjoyed it greatly. I'm afraid that I may have gained some weight over there because they just kept feeding us all the time, all day.
Because like Koreans eat a lot as it is, and when we got here, we started eating way more.
Way more
But
than
then
we did in the States.
Just imagine that, like double what an American would eat, and then double that, and that's how much we ate in Chonan. So I was like, oh no, that's why I wore the loose sleeves. We ate like 6 times a day, maybe 7 times a day.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. The sister woke us up early to eat, and then we'd get to service, and we'd go out shortly, and then we'd eat some more for tea time, and then we'd stop for lunch, and we'd eat, and then we'd go to afternoon service, and we'd stop for tea time, and we'd eat, and then we'd finish service, and somebody would be like, oh, I want to treat you guys out to a meal. So then we'd eat again, and then we'd get home, and
And then sometimes they're like, oh, because the sister we stayed with works overnight. So they were like, you guys are going to be all alone for dinner, so come to our house and eat. And we'd be like, but we
No.
just eat. they would go, and then the food would be delicious. So of course I just and
It's rude to say no.
yes.
And it was delicious, so how could I?
And plus they were older than us, so it was of course we
Yeah,
couldn't
I wasn't
refuse.
just gonna be like no to your delicious food. I was gonna eat it. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So it was
잘
like a
먹겠습니다.
잘 먹었습니다.
Past tense.
Past tense. So
That's why I can say very good, because we've eaten so
Yeah.
much.
yeah, we've had a lot of practice. So we are fresh from our vacation. We just came back yesterday.
I just did my makeup in the style of my contemporaries, Korean style. I don't know if you can tell, but
She
it's
did it.
very, very Korean.
It's very Korean style.
Very pale, very sparkly. I get glitter in my eyes and then I cry. But everyone's like, 예뻐, 예뻐, and I'm like,
which
worth it.
means pretty.
I'm like,
So we thought that since it's our 2-month anniversary, we'd make this video to share some things that we've learned on our journey here. So the number one thing, which we've kind of already addressed, is there's chocolate and strawberry in everything.
chocolate or strawberry,
Sometimes both.
but sometimes both. Most of the time both.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad because I try not to eat chocolate or strawberry because Ashley wants to eat it so bad. And
The second, like, pretend you're about to eat some strawberry right now, and I just,
you see? I can't do it. I can't do it. How can you say no to that face? And then, like, if I don't say no, then she dies. So it's a whole thing. But anyway. So,
and we brought Benadryl, but the supply is dwindling because she can't say no.
yeah.
And then I'm just like,
Exactly. Then we have that whole madness and everybody's like, don't scratch. And that just makes it worse. Like, it just knowing that you shouldn't.
and
You're
I was
just
like, I stopped scratching, but now my eyeballs are swelling shut. So,
yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, so we've had to be careful with food, but a happy alternative is red bean. Red bean is so good.
it's like the closest alternative to chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it tastes really similar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I'm happy.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. So I don't know why last time we came I was like, ugh. Oh, I think because I would buy it thinking that it was chocolate, and then I'd eat it and I was like, oh, this isn't chocolate at all. That's disgusting. But now it's delicious. So yeah. Anyway, another thing we've learned is
To not get a haircut in Korea. I'm sorry, but they do not know how to cut long hair.
so let's put it this way. You know how
I don't know if you guys remember on Christmas Day, Heather posted a picture on Snapchat labeled Ashley's worst nightmare, because I'm like, I don't know if you guys remember how long my hair used to be. It was in America about this long, and they said they were only gonna cut a little bit. She was like, just this much, okay? She's like, just, it's okay. And then this much
okay, relax.
is gone.
It's longer. She has it up in a ponytail, so it's not that much. Anyway, so she was clearly upset.
Which
She says she's okay, but she's not. She
I'm
keeps
okay.
bringing it up.
I'm okay. I can bring it up now because it's funny. If I was not okay, I would not bring it up at all, because I'd get violent. I'd flip this. Yeah, I'm okay. But to sum up the whole experience into one image, here's my hair in a ponytail. You know, it should be. And there's this weird piece that's like an inch longer
I have one of those too. I also got my hair cut.
than the rest of my hair.
So let's put it this way: if you have special kind of hair, you know,
That's
you
not
would
Asian hair.
you would go no. Let me finish. If you have special kind of hair, like for example, if you have textured hair or curly hair, you would go to a salon that specializes in that, right?
Most likely in Seoul.
No, not here. At
Oh.
home.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, at home. So like you all at home.
Bien.
That's why I'm like, let me finish. So you would go to a hair salon that specializes in that, right? You're not just gonna go to any $5 haircut place and be like, here, try to do something with it. So
I would.
if you don't have specifically Asian hair, like very thick, strong, black Asian hair, I would not recommend that you try to do anything to it here, because they only know what they know. So unless you know that a specific hair place, you know, knows exactly what to do, and
Yes, because apparently there's some Asians that have very little hair, and so they cut it this way on purpose to make it look like there's more.
textured, they put the textured ends on it to make it look like it's fuller. Ashley does not have that problem. She has tons of hair,
I have tons of hair, but it's very thin.
so
So she
that
assumed
one long
I
strip,
had no hair at all.
that one long strip is just, yeah. Anyway, so we also learned a lot about cultures while we're here. Everybody was like, what is your biggest culture shock? Everybody thinks, you know, that because we are born in the US, that our culture is very American, but it's actually not.
We're learning how Mexican we are.
That's the funny thing. Where they're like,
As they ask us.
don't Americans think this and don't Americans do that? I'm like, yeah, Americans do, but I don't. So we're very
But I heard
Mexican.
Americans can't eat spicy food. How are you okay? Oh,
That's the biggest shock. That and like
I
we've
need chopsticks.
a couple of times we've been to restaurants where they look at us and they're like, oh god,
They'll go to the
like do they need forks?
forks.
And we're like, nope.
Poke.
필요하세요?
Poke.
Poke. Fork.
Because there's no F sound
There's no
in the
F sound.
Korean language.
And we don't need forks. So I tell them we eat Asian food a lot in America, so we had a lot of practice. So basically we're breaking stereotypes here because we're
We're
Americans.
trailblazing.
We're the least Americans in the entire world. You're welcome, everybody.
Welcome, guys.
No need to thank me, but thank me. But if you are that American, then don't come. You're gonna ruin all our hard work. So yeah, and then apparently,
apparently they also, you know those Ritz, those little tiny Ritz sandwiches with cheese. You know those little Ritz cheese sandwiches. This tastes exactly like it.
it's
But-
Ritz. It's actually Ritz. Like this says Litchi, which is Ritz,
And it has cheese.
but it's
Where's
the
it?
full size.
Cheese. Except it tastes exactly like it. Except there is no. Oh no! I got cake in my sleeve. There's no salt whatsoever.
No salt.
Not even for flavoring.
And the cheese is sweet. That's
It's
another
like a
thing we gotta get used to.
cheesy cream.
Things that are not usually sweet in America are sweet here.
Like they sprinkle sugar on corn dogs.
Sugar, like churros kind of thing. Yeah, on corn dogs. So that's haven't gotten used to that, but also
Also, they stick corn in things that you're like,
they stick corn in everything.
it's
Eggs,
got no business
bread,
having corn in it.
bread.
Yes, you're like, oh, it's just a plain bread, and then you.
Yeah, like their corn bread. I wouldn't call it cornbread. Cornbread. It's like their own special. It's like a bread pudding thing, where it's still kind of like mushy on the inside, and it just has entire kernels. Like it's not mash. It's not like
It's like
mixed in.
They put. I want to say like cream corn
Yeah, like cream corn.
Like they
with
just
with
scooped
like
it.
canned corn, and you can tell that it's all canned corn. Like it's not like cut off the cob. No, it's all canned corn, and they just like and put it in the eggs, put it in your sandwich and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. Um, we learned that hearing hearing culture and deaf culture here in Korea is different, just like in America, but
This is the same
same.
in Korean Sign Language.
Same. So
Same.
America, Korea, same. Um, yeah. So, but it's so the way that deaf culture is different in America from hearing culture is like not even close to resembles this. So the like a sister told us in Pyeongtaek the other day. She was saying that you know, hearing Korean culture is that when there's somebody older than you know, especially elderly, you
I'm
you
making a mess.
just leave it. We'll clean it after.
Okay.
If you want to show them respect, you sit there quietly until you're spoken to, and you know you try not to make a fuss. But
Call no attention to yourself. Disappear if you can.
but she's so used to deaf culture that sometimes even with older ones, like hearing older ones, she's like, hey, hey. And then they're looking at her like, what is your problem? What is wrong with you? And she's like, all right, I'm with the hearing. Like, shh, shh. So yeah, that's pretty funny.
And I've had the opposite problem where I've been very good at like respecting, but with the deaf, apparently,
it's rude to stay quiet. Like
yeah. So they're always like,
she don't talk.
"Actually,
Like she's weird. She don't talk.
like she's just standing there, like."
So that's pretty funny. That was another thing we learned. I liked it though. I like learning about new cultures anyway, so it's good to learn that. I was pretty shocked because Mexican culture and Korean culture are very similar. Things like the language has honorifics, which is
There's a
In-
hierarchy.
in Spanish we use usted as a respectful term for somebody that's older than us or somebody that we don't know. They have the same thing in Korean. So that was like, okay, we understand the concept that like different depending on who you're addressing is going to be conjugated differently. So we get that, but
Which brings us to our next point. Why they ask you for your age. They're not being rude. They're not shaming you.
So it is spread all over Korea that Americans hate it when you ask them their age. And so
And the one poor sister was like riding in
Sweating.
her seat. Like she went like we talked about our entire lives. And she just like finally was like, I'm so sorry. What's your age? And I was like, you should have asked. Like, that's not, I don't find that rude. And she's like, I heard
like, I heard
Americans hate it.
yeah, that they get their feelings hurt.
I'm sorry. And I'm like, no. And she was like, I'm so curious.
Yeah, so the reason that they ask for your age
Is because of the chondemal.
is because they need to know if you're older
If
than
you're
them.
older, oh, I must change how I speak.
Because their words and their manners change depending on the age. So can they be comfortable around you and say, hey, brother, sister, whatever? Or are they like, oh man, you're way older than I am and I need to be extremely respectful,
Yeah.
tread very lightly. So it's not rude at all. It's actually very polite for them. That's gonna be one of the very first questions that they shoot you, like, how old are you? Or where are you from?
Or if you don't want to be that one person that's just like, just offer up. Just be like, hey, my name is Ashley. I'm 28 years old.
Yeah, so definitely if you're extremely sensitive about that, I would not recommend coming to Korea because it's a very huge deal here. Very huge.
Eat this pink thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't trust it.
I don't know.
Is it strawberry?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm not gonna eat it.
I don't eat it. So yeah. If they ask you your age, they're being polite. They want to make sure that they're not offending you.
If you're coming to Korea for international, whoa, buckle up.
Please. Yeah.
Because it's gonna happen. It's going down.
Yeah, so we were ready for hearing Korean culture. We were not as ready for deaf Korean culture. But we're getting used to it, so that's pretty funny. We got some funny stories out of it, so that's good.
Y'all want the real cheese, man? You gotta hit me up on Instagram. We're gonna keep this video.
I'm gonna keep
Pretty.
this video positive. So we're gonna leave it
Nice.
like that.
Yep, okay.
And so, we've also one thing that I like here about service here is actually deaf search with the hearing congregations. So our congregation, for example, every week on
weekend.
every Saturday, we visit a different hearing congregation
Within our territory,
and we go.
we teach them
We teach them,
to help us look for deaf.
and so we go throughout their territory, and we ask the businesses. For example, there's real estate offices, and here it's more like if you need to rent an apartment, there's different brokers that'll help you find a place.
Yeah, there you go, brokers.
There's brokers.
But like, if you want it for a specific place, you literally like, oh, it's called Samsung apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would have to go to the Samsung Budongsan.
Which is like the broker for Samsung apartments.
Yeah. And he can only help you with that. And if you're looking somewhere else,
so
you have
there's
to
like
go.
tons of them all over the place.
Sometimes there's like 4 on the same block because
So we also ask at convenience
The
stores. We also ask at convenience stores. We ask at hair salons.
we have to get yakuks.
Yakuks, which is pharmacies. And we ask like the security guards, because usually there'll be like a couple of buildings that are all managed by the same company, so they'll hire their own security guard that'll have like a little tiny office in the middle of all the buildings, so they guard the cars and stuff like that. And so they usually know the haps, and so you can go and ask them like, hey, have you seen somebody that signs? So that's pretty cool. And then
And one time I asked at a pharmacy, and so we're like, oh, have you come across any deaf people? And she's like, nope, never come across one in my life, never seen one, never experienced it, never, nope. And we're like, well, maybe they were deaf and you didn't know, like maybe they came in and they didn't talk, or maybe they wrote back and forth. And then she's like, nope, well, actually there was one customer a few years ago, he was a big jerk, he never said a word to me, not even once. And every time I would tell him the price, he would just look at me, so I'd have to type it on the calculator to show him, and then he like write something and then just pay for his stuff and leave. And we're like, that was probably a deaf person.
deaf.
And she's like, yeah, I didn't like him very much, he was rude, and I haven't seen him in a while, so he probably moved. And we're like, well, next time you have a customer similar, we were like, let you know they're probably deaf. And so if you come across someone else like that, please let us know. And she was like, oh, interesting, okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool because we get to educate the hearing about deaf and the deaf culture, what a deaf person lives like, kind of, very shortly, what sign language looks like. Also, they train them to look for the light bells, so that, because here there's so many apartment buildings, and since they're usually out and about in their territory and we can't search so many apartments, like imagine LA, all of LA County just covered in apartments.
Minimum 15 stories.
Like, there's no way we can get search through all that. There's no way.
Like one building would be like 15 stories, and there's about 20 apartments on each floor,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just one. And like each building cluster would be like 7 buildings.
So it's a lot
It's
of work. So they team up with the hearing congregations. They show them pictures of what the light bells look like. And so they're like, if have you ever rang a bell and it doesn't make a sound, and nobody ever comes out, well, you can write it down, give it to us as a lead, and we can come check it out. So that's really fun. We get to talk to the friends and encourage them to try to join sign language, and I have gotten to meet some sisters that
our congregation gets to show us off. They're like, yeah, we got
like
Americans,
yeah. Which is hilarious. Even friends who don't really like talk to us at meeting are like, yeah,
when they go to hearing, like, yep,
they're in our congregation. We got Americans. You guys have Americans? Yeah, didn't think so.
Kachi, uri.
They're so funny. But
then I'm like, hi, 안녕하세요. Oh.
Yeah, it's
every
funny.
time.
Every time
it's the best.
You just see the look of like horror in their face, like, oh man, I got the foreigner in my group. What am I gonna do? I don't speak English. I can't talk to them.
But then sometimes there's what they will do is they'll have 2 hearing from the hearing congregation, and they'll have one deaf person and then one hearing person from the sign language congregation. And sometimes there's so many people, when it's small, then it'd be like, so if it's it'd be 2 hearing, 1 deaf, one of us, and then another hearing sister that's Korean. So there'll be 5 of us, but sometimes there's so many that we're the hearing person, and so they're like, and then we're like
Yeah, my Korean is not good enough for me to ask smoothly, like fluently, if they've seen anyone who can't hear or can't speak. Like, I can say deaf, like, do you know anyone that's deaf? But then sometimes they look at you like they've never heard this word in their entire life. So the friends will explain, like, oh, it's somebody who can't hear or can't speak and uses sign language to communicate.
Or writes back and forth.
Things like that. And we get a lot of questions, like, where are you from? Like, just the friends, not us, the friends, like, where did you come from? Who are you with? What are you doing? Like, so they train us kind of to not, they don't want us to say outright that we're witnesses, because a lot of people will be extremely hostile, like extremely hostile. So ones who know that, who have learned from witnesses, who have some experience, you can tell, or like, because they train us to say, when they ask who are you with, we say we come with the watchtower. And so like literally in English they say watchtower, not
English,
exactly
in Korean,
but watchtower in Korean is pasude. So they don't say pasude, they say watchtower. And so you can tell the ones that have had some experience learning from witnesses and not like gave up, and they're kind of like super, like, they'll go from like, oh hi potential customer person, to like, oh god, get out of here. So yeah, that's interesting.
Or when they realize there's a deaf person with us. Also, there have been times where they're like, no, get out immediately, right now. And that was a culture shock. Like,
that was a super culture shock, like, to see.
And
yeah.
I was like, no. Because as some of you guys may know, I have a temper. I have a very bad temper. And I was like, not in service. Mm-mm.
That was all Jehovah right there.
Mm-hmm. The joke we say, those 4 angels
that are holding back the winds.
The 4 winds. I'm like, all 4 of them came and we're like, actually,
don't do it. It's not worth it. Not during
service.
I was
just like, yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. And then another thing that they love to talk about here, love, like, bring it up every 2 seconds, is their air pollution. So every 2 seconds you'll hear the word misemonji.
Aigo, misemonji.
Like, oh, I'm so happy that you came to Korea, but
미세먼지가
that misemonji, right? Misemonji, so
아깝다.
bad. Have you seen the misemonji today? Misemonji is crazy.
아,
It's so thick.
mask.
Oh yeah,
mask.
we've been
mask
bullied
있어?
into wearing
mask.
masks, even though I'm gonna say 90% of the friends don't wear them. Like, our congregation is mostly older people,
And
and
they're kind of like,
they're like,
I'll
"Do
die
something."
before the pollution gets to me, so I don't care.
So,
It's-
but they'll still be like,
it's-
why aren't you wearing a mask?
Mhm.
You are a child and you are sensitive, so you need to wear a mask.
I'm sorry, we were sitting cross-legged on the floor.
I'm still not used to that.
My socks
That's
are
another
squeaking.
Ugh.
My legs are going numb. This is the
Yeah.
longest.
I'm still not used to sitting cross-legged on the floor. It's horrible. I hate it.
And my socks are sliding off. I'm just my pants.
We are a hot mess. But y'all knew that already. If you're watching this, you've experienced it.
If you're still watching this, like a half hour in, like
High five. Seriously, if you're still watching this, comment and be like, we have put up with all of your nonsense for this long. Anyways, I think we should cut this video because
Yes.
it's
we'll make a part 2 because there's still so many stories we haven't told.
yeah, and this is long enough. So
So
we'll get our thoughts together because clearly we're not very in tune with each other. So we'll get our thoughts together and then we'll make a part 2 to this. Okay, you guys? Bye. Love you.